Have you ever wondered what business ideas are going to be winners and which ones are just seductive distractions? Today, you're going to learn from a wildly successful serial entrepreneur who took his innovative idea for a biotech company public in less than 3 years. I'm Jennifer Hootie, and this is the It All Started with a Vision series, where you will learn how wildly successful entrepreneurs took the vision and their ideas and turned them into their reality. You'll learn how the power of vision can help you attract top talent, align your current team, create key partnerships, and help you stay focused and motivated even in the most challenging of times, so that you can create your company's future as a place that you and your team want to visit. In today's episode, I'm talking with Scott Donnell. Scott is a serial entrepreneur who has dedicated his life to physical and mental health. He is the founder of Apex Leadership Company, which is a fitness and fundraising program for schools. Apex has raised over $75 million for schools and has grown to 115 franchises with over 3 million customers. More recently, Scott has joined the biotech world as the CEO of Happy. Happy specializes in ultra-low frequencies with a patented technology to basically help you feel how you want, whether it's alert, calm, relaxed, sleepy, or focused, to name a few. Happy has hit the market only a couple months ago and has already gone public in Canada. Dan Sullivan calls it the next consumer-generated revolution. In today's episode, you're going to learn how to attract the right talent to help you bring your innovative idea to life. Also, what to do when trolls and haters try to sabotage your success, how to hold the standard of your vision and help the team do the same, especially when things aren't going your way or the way that you planned. Plus the most important counterpart to vision that if it's missing will quickly ruin your reputation. Check out this episode, and if you love it, share it with another entrepreneur who can benefit too. Enjoy. What's up, and welcome to another episode of It All Started with a Vision. Today I have on Scott Donnell, the founder and CEO of Happy, amongst many other companies. What's up, Scott?
Hey guys.
How you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. This is going to be fun, Jen. I'm excited to talk to your audience and you about vision.
So let's kick off. What's your business? Who do you help? How do you help them?
Okay, so the main one, I've got a lot of businesses. I've solved problems. That's I'm a serial entrepreneur, but Happy Technologies, HAPBEE, Happy. That's our main company, and it's a biotech company. It helps you choose how you want to feel at the touch of a button. It's this really, really cool technology. It's been around in development for 18 years, about $80 million into this technology. And you can feel like alert, calm, relaxed, focused, sleepy, even like a euphoric kick on command at the touch of a button using very precise magnetic fields. Safe, ultra low. It's pretty awesome.
I got one on right now.
Me too. There you go.
They're very stylish and cool.
You can wear it under your shirt too in stealth mode, just so you know, for those of you wondering. Yeah.
So when you started Happy, I know that you have many other companies as well. When did the vision first come about to create Happy?
Well, we had this technology was started by a bunch of scientists, right, in the early 2000s, and their thought was crazy. It was, what if we could take a molecule, a compound, a drug molecule, and listen to it, like literally that has a sound. And the idea was, all these molecules, they throw off this wake, like a magnetic wake. Your energy, I'm energy. Everything we take in our bodies has like little electrons that are spinning around the atoms and they shoot off. Well, that's how actually non-covalent bonds work. And so these guys had this crazy idea. What if we could find a technology that's so sensitive enough that we could listen in
Mm.
and see if it plays back on the body. And that's what they did. And so I invested 12 years ago into the technology out of Seattle. The parent company is called Emulate Therapeutics. They're doing incredible work with this tech now with people with cancer. They're helping with pain and a bunch of other things. Well, long story short, I was doing a bunch of other businesses, consumer tech businesses, and it hit me a couple years ago. Why not use this for like consumer side? Like, why not just like get signals that mimic like coffee and energy? And I immediately saw the vision of, wow, we could have an app and a
Mm.
device and like a playlist, like a Spotify playlist of feelings that people could use on command, right? That was the vision that just hit me, and then everything
And
else happened.
real quick, with that, when it hit you, like, was it just an aha moment when you were working on something? When did that idea, that vision float in?
Well, a couple years, about a year before we actually licensed their tech was kind of the first time it hit me. I'm in consumer tech. I have, over 500 people in my other companies and a whole
Mhm,
tech team. We build apps, we build millions of dollars worth of technology,
mhm,
and we serve kids. We make products. We just have a lot of different companies. And so when you see all this stuff, you start to see overlap. You
mm,
start to see how, oh, that's why Uber was created, right? Because hailing a taxi sucks,
mhm,
and tech can solve that problem, right? And the parent company had always had this, like, I'm not going to say ugly on camera, but it's a giant headband looking thing with a huge cord and a box, and it's like blue and white. It looks like a medical. You're not going to wear that out, right? Um, and I'd always thought about that and been like, that's just not the form factor I would want to wear around for fun. But
mhm,
then we got a signal. We got our first signal was the happy signal. It mimics 2 happy hour drinks. Okay, you
mm,
get flushed cheeks, you're a little giggly, euphoric. It takes the edge off. It's awesome. And it immediately hit me. I was like, if I could turn from this to alert and then relax my muscles at the click of a
mhm,
button, and just in a few minutes later, the sensations start waving over my body, and then put it under my pillow at night. Like that was the vision. So I was kind of taking all this stuff from my past work and experiences and what my coders had done, the features we've built, knowing the app space, understanding Bluetooth, low energy
mhm,
Bluetooth to a degree. I thought there's a way to do this, right? And so creating the playlist is the immediate vision that came to my mind. And if you could deliver, because everybody has one-off tech, like New Calm, I can make you calm. Halo
mhm,
Sport, I can make your neuroplasticity and shock your frontal cortex. Alpha Stim, just random. There's a lot of direct stim out there, but nobody can actually deliver this very specific playlist on command of what you need. So
mhm.
that was the vision from the start.
Super cool. So it sounds like there was all of your experience and all of the different businesses that you had, and it was like this crossover and layering of how there was a clear through line
Yep.
between it all with happy. And
Yeah.
so between the time of having the vision for what it could be and then actually launching the first signal, happy signal, was about a year, you said?
Yeah. Well, really 3 years. I mean, getting all this together and thinking through it. I mean, it was just because I had the vision didn't mean we could do it. You know,
Mm,
I saw it so clearly, and that's why I stopped doing my other business, Apex, which was the largest school fundraising franchise in America. I said, okay, I see what this can do, and I need to try.
mm,
And that other business was an amazing business. We've helped millions of kids, raised $80 million for schools across America. And I had a franchisee who he's the best franchisee we got, Nathan. And I said, Nathan, I have to do this. I'm invested in this. My parents are in this. My whole family and friends care about this tech, and I see the vision.
mhm,
Can and Jeremy, my partner, Jeremy Barnhart, and he runs the show. He could do this in his sleep and run Apex. So him and Nathan together, kind of the two of them took over, and it was like easy. And so that company
mm,
became self-managing right away the next day. I mean, really, it did. And I really appreciate those guys. And to this day, they still run it incredibly well. And so it freed me up to take all my experience and launch this vision. But we didn't know if Bluetooth or wireless was going to break the signal. That was the biggest fear. So just because I saw the vision didn't mean it was going to work. Nobody has ever overmolded a copper coil wire to create the, like, no one's done what we're doing anywhere. So we had to like make it up from scratch at the manufacturing plant. We had to figure out the Bluetooth with like a blockage to make sure that wireless and BLE didn't affect the signal and the sensations it gave you in your body. I mean, that was a scary 6 months. I brought in four of my buddies, like my closest friends, under NDA right when we started. And I was like, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm really nervous, but if this works, it's absolutely going to affect the whole world, right? Because people don't realize, like, we can get an unlimited amount of signals, right? This is in our, it's in our public prospectus now. We've got signals coming for memory. We're working on signals for performance, for diet. Okay. Like, this is going to break wide open very here. I mean, it already did, but I'm talking like bigger. So I said, okay, I want to try, but I need you guys to beat this tech up. And they're my 4 science buddies, like PhDs, like all of them, molecular engineering, chemist, quant physics. Like, these guys are like the biggest nerds that I trust on earth. And 3 of them were like, there's something here. It's undeniable. And they've got 38 patents and everything, but we don't know if it's going to work. It's worth a shot. And one guy goes, you're crazy. You're an idiot. This is insane. People are never going to, like, no one's going to believe you until you really like actually get to market. So you're never going to raise a penny. But the other 3 were like, but there's something here, Jake. Like, you can't deny it. And it was, at the end of the day, it was, okay, they came to me together and they said, it's worth like trying. And so I had to put in the first $250,000. I don't know if this is public, but I put in myself, just because of what they said. They said it's worth trying. And that is a crazy risk. I mean, it's not like I'm made of money. That's a big old crazy risk, but I saw the vision. I knew what had to be tested before, because I wasn't going to take anybody else's money. I don't like having other people's money. Are you kidding me? I act like it's more valuable than my own money. I would much rather lose my own money, Jen, than yours, because
Totally.
I can sleep at night if I lose some of my money. I can't sleep very well if I lose yours, right? I lost money for somebody in 2013 and I stroked him a personal check. Okay. That's it. That's the only time I've ever lost money. I do not like losing money. And so I put my own in, and here we are. Right. And then the story goes from there. But
There's so many nuggets here, and like one of just, so you had this vision and a unique situation, and but a common situation, I guess, for like leading edge visionaries, which is the vision, but having no proof yet that it can become a reality. Like what you were developing, it's not like there was 3 or 4 other people on the market doing the exact same thing and you were just doing a different version of it. It was literally like, it was an innovation, and you having to hold the vision and then communicate it to then get other people enrolled. Like, what were some of the things that you did to start enrolling others into this vision that you could see now, starting to see much more clearly,
yeah.
to get them seeing what you saw when they've never seen it before?
Sure. That's a good question. But before I say it, I do have to make sure I do a shout out. Our parent company, Emulate, we're standing on their shoulders, right? Like, they did show and prove out the tech for over a decade first, but it was in the medical space. It was in brain tumors and other things like that. They working on, mimicking Roundup and random stuff with animals. And like, they'd shown a lot, but for me, it was this fear of, can we make it this? Right. And I literally saw, like, the people who did the Fitbit did this with us, but I literally saw this, like the look, the feel, the weight, like how you'd wear it. It could go here, it can go here, it can go under your shirt. The light can be on or off. Like, I saw it all right at the beginning. And so for me, it was communicating that vision to people. And there was enough people at the beginning who knew me, that I'm not crazy. I've made a lot of people a lot of money. But they trusted me that I wasn't going to, obviously everyone knows it's a crazy idea. Everyone, every idea is insane until the day before it works. Right. And so for me, it was, I had a moment where my grandma was involved here, and it changed my life. It changed the whole reason to do this. Before, it was cool and inspiring, and I was passionate about it, and it was something that could change the world. And then we got our first major signal, which was the relax signal, like relax your muscles, like boom. And my grandma was 87 at the time. This was a couple years ago, and she just passed a couple months ago. But she's my why. Really bad arthritis, lots of aches and soreness. Obviously, we don't cure arthritis. If anybody's wondering, we can't cure it. It's just that causes tension and soreness and aches. And she had a terrible time sleeping for a decade. And I gave her the relax signal, right? And it was on one of the old clunky devices, but I said, Grandma, just try this. It might help you. I didn't tell her anything else. I didn't say what it was. I didn't try to shift her in any way. I just wanted to know, like, if I just put this on her, what would happen? And in about 15 minutes, she was jovial, bouncing around, giving everybody hugs. She was visibly, and she just said it out loud. She's like, I feel amazing right now. Like, the aches and soreness gone. That night, she slept 11 hours. And the next day, my grandpa walked up and gave me $100 grand. And he said, do this with as many people as you can possibly do it with, because what you ever did to grandma needs to happen to everybody else. And our family doesn't give money to each other. I mean, this is not, we don't pass on money. This isn't like what we do ever. In fact, I was like, our family kind of prides ourselves on we don't give you fish. We teach you to fish. Right. And when he did that, it was like this moment of like, wow, okay, let's go. That's my why. And so I still think about that all the time. And from that, I just started talking to some folks, like friends and, relatives and people I loved, and just said, guys, I know it's insane, but I'm going. And if I got to do it all with my money, I'm going to do it all with my money. Right. I mean, we tried to we raised like $3.5 million to start. And then we did the major financing of another 6.5 million earlier this year to go public in Toronto. But yeah, most of that 3.5 million was this, just telling people, put this on and tell me what you think. And that's what happened. Right. So yeah, that was how it just carried from there, got it over the hump, and people started to see. And then we started doing our animal studies that proved incredible, right? You could literally see video of the mice like jumpy on alert and like passed out on sleepy, and they're all splayed out with their hands and legs. And all the lab techs, they were blinded, by the way. They didn't know which signals on which cages and everything. They were 100% accurate, being like, this one is sleepy, this one is happy, this one's alert, and this one's nothing. Right? 100%. Crown Bio, San Diego. Right? Really cool. And that was like, these things all like are just one more obstacle. Right? Then we fixed the Bluetooth. Then we got our prototype. Then we got our app finally working. Then we launch on Indiegogo, and everyone goes nuts over it because they're super excited. And we have our blinded studies. Sham, I'm giving you a signal, but you don't know if it's even on or off, or if it's alert or sleepy. You don't know. And once people were onboarded, they were 100% accurate in guessing between on and off. The only one they couldn't figure out was sleepy and relax, which, to be honest, are like kind of the same, similar. I mean, they're like 15% different, but one of them's a muscle relaxant and one of them's a sleep aid. It's like if I gave you a Merlot and a Malbec, and I said, okay, which one is it, Jen? I mean, maybe you'd know. I don't know how much you drink wine.
I wouldn't know.
Okay.
I wouldn't know.
Okay. I wouldn't either, but.
So throughout the journey of building it, and like you're at the point where, you just went public, which is so epic. Was there a specific challenge that you faced where you really used the vision to help you pull through it?
Yeah. So we found out after like 4 months after our prototype, this prototype, about over a year and 2 months ago, we found out that I was feeling like I was feeling wrong. Like I would put the older clunky one on and I would feel it strong. And then I would put this one on and it would be like more subtle. But everybody was promising me like, no, 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 it's fine. It's fine. And I was getting this whole, like, after weeks and weeks, I was like, guys, I've done this hundreds of times now. Something's wrong,
Mm.
and people were like, what are you talking about? You're just being paranoid. And I knew with the vision what had to be. I knew what it had to be, what we had to feel, what was going on. And I just said, guys, no, there's something wrong here.
Mm.
And we finally found out in like February that we were driving the signals, but we were driving them at a different play clock. And when you drive a signal on a different play clock, it distorts the signal. It like was clipping off the top half of the signal. And because I'm one of the highest users in the company I've got more clocked time than almost anybody on earth. Okay. Times two. I know what these things feel like. I can tell the difference in a couple minutes between all the signals. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And now our whole team can, and a bunch of people can, but back then it was like only me and then maybe a couple others. And I was like, no, something's wrong. And they finally found that after months of just terror and like, no, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
this is, and I was thinking it was Bluetooth. I was thinking it was wireless. I was thinking it was all this stuff. It was because they had one line of code wrong and they were playing the clock incorrectly.
Damn.
And, the vision carried us through, and then finally they fixed it. And now it feels the same. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
yes. So that's just one of many
Mm.
kind of stories. Yeah.
Yeah. So good. One of the things that you shared right at the beginning too, it's like the vision's the standard. Like you were like holding this standard, and I just know sometimes as entrepreneurs when we're like solving the problems, and especially with new territory, when we have others telling us like, no, it can't be done this way, or like, no, you're being a little bit delusional, or like the little cutting corners, like it's our responsibility to keep holding the vision, holding the standard. And it can feel a little vulnerable too when we're like, we're trudging new territory. Like,
Yeah. Oh my
yeah.
gosh, this is entrepreneurs. Like there's this proverb that without vision the people perish. Have you ever
Mm-hmm.
heard this?
Mm-hmm.
It is so true. Like if you do not have vision, you're dead in the water. And
Mm-hmm.
so many people just sort of follow orders and march, but it's the people that have to give the orders with the vision that are just I have so much respect for those minds because they're walking into darkness. It's like it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's like with your eyes closed, walking in the wilderness in the darkness, and half the time you think there's a massive cliff coming, you know, and you don't know when it
Mm-hmm.
is, and you don't know if it's there, and sometimes you literally feel like that cliff's about to be the next step, right? That's what happens to leaders all the time.
Mm.
And
So
I
good.
can't tell you how many times I just literally, for me, it's actually a faith thing. I believe
Mm-hmm.
in God. I just feel like God puts things in our hearts and we march and he determines our steps. It's as simple as that. And
Mm-hmm.
what it does to me is it helps me not feel like it's all on me. So
Mm-hmm.
this is what I think this is why a lot of leaders fall. It's because they feel like they're Atlas. In their mind, they're carrying the world. They're carrying their business. They're putting food. I've got 500 people. If I thought that I was responsible for every little thing that happens in their life and every little dollar that everything that goes on their kids' table for food and every marriage problem that they have or every sickness, if I put that all on my shoulders, that everything was on me, and I did for many years, it absolutely crushes a man or a woman. Doesn't matter. Okay. That stuff crushes you. You have to just hold the vision tight and keep going and take a lot of deep breaths and just trust God. It's as simple as that. And as long as you do the right thing, you just keep walking.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Mm.
that's
So
kind of
good.
how I've lived my life, and here we are.
Mm-hmm. It's so true. It's so true. And like one of my mentors says, we can't always make it happen, but we can make it welcome. And like when we tune in to a higher power and say like, okay, you tell me where to go and I'll go. But like God can't drive a parked car. So we got to take action.
Right. That's
But
right.
at the same time, when we're guided by that source, we can create quantum leaps and quantum jumps that we couldn't do on our own.
Yeah.
I love
My,
that.
we asked my grandpa to write a book because he got really sick like 10 years ago. And we're like, write a book. Just tell us all your wisdom. And
Mm-hmm.
the title of his book was um, Flying the Plane Backwards. That was his book. And he said, my whole life, I've flown a plane at light speed. And he was Ronald Reagan's bank chair, the largest small business bank in the country, all these awards, Interwest Bank in the Northwest, if anybody knows it, most people do. He invented the 2 hours a week paid volunteer time.
Mm-hmm.
He's the first one to ever do it. And he did it with thousands of people. He's a stud, right? So we're like, man, you're old. You got great grandkids now. Just tell us all your wisdom. And that was the title, Flying the Plane Backwards. Because he said, you never know in the moment where, what's going to
Mm-hmm.
happen next. But when you look backwards as to all, what all has happened in your life, it is an absolutely clear picture that you've been led this whole time.
Whew.
How cool is that? Like, and
So good.
I do it all the time now. I'm like,
Got
wow,
chills.
if I didn't break my arm in
Mm-hmm.
football, I never would have gone to Whitworth. If that miserable, crazy thing didn't happen, I never would have met my wife, Amy,
Mm-hmm.
right? I never would be here starting this business if those three things didn't happen, and I, got screwed out of this crazy deal. And, like everybody, you can either act like a victim or you can have vision, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, my life is like, there's a purpose. There's a reason why I'm here. And and everything works out to the good, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you can either think that way, or you can think like all of life is victimhood, right? I think I'd rather live in the vision, because I think there's so much abundance in that. And there's so much more that can be done there. And you're so much more open. Like you just said, drive the car.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're ready to drive the car instead of like taking the keys out of the ignition and like quitting.
Yeah. So for entrepreneurs, when challenges are coming up left and right, and it's our responsibility to lead with vision, lead from vision, with our team, with um, our clients, our customers. What are some of the things that, when you're in those challenging moments, how are you leading from vision, especially when there's, like 2020, a whole bunch of circumstances for
Oh,
certain entrepreneurs where they're like feeling pretty defeated. And so the idea of having to lead from vision with their team, it's like, how do I do this?
yeah. And I have to be humble for a minute, because I'm not the perfect person to do this. I feel like I have panic attacks like every other month or something. I mean, it's crazy. It gets crazy. I think
Mm-hmm.
the more bold you are, the crazier it becomes, unless you're a straight up narcissist who has no empathy or feeling whatsoever,
Mm-hmm.
which I hope I'm not. Maybe I am. I don't know. But I definitely feel the weight, of what's going on in my life. And when things are hard and I don't have an answer, you have to sit in it, and it's painful. And you have to just sit and hold the vision. That's it. And you don't, like remember I said earlier, we didn't know if it was going to actually work for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Elon Musk is on the record saying that his first two spaceships were probably going to crash and explode at 60 million a pop. That's a hell of a vision to hold, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were the same way. I mean, so here's my craziest experience of the year. You ready for this? In February, we launched on Indiegogo, happy. We were only going to sell like 30 or 40 or 50 of these things just to see if the ads would convert. You know this, you're in
Mm-hmm.
copy, right? You're one
Yeah.
of the world famous copywriter, and conversion. So we wanted to see if our text and our digital would convert. That was it. We hadn't finished our blinded studies yet. They were like 2 months away. Well, Dave posts it, Asprey and
Mm-hmm.
Jim Quick and Joe, and all these people start like a firestorm. It converted fast. We sold $500,000 of product in like a little bit.
I
And it
remember
was
that.
it was insane.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the trolls came out because this is crazy new tech. And we didn't put all the science on there because we were, one, we were under NDA with our parent company. We couldn't say certain things yet. And number two, May was when we were finishing our blinded sham studies. We haven't had a peep since, but we had the largest troll on earth out of the UK do a 30-minute hit video against us. I mean, you could get some popcorn and watch it. It's pretty funny, but it was like, there's no way this is possible. This is a total scam. This is snake oil. How do you guys sleep at night? Like, and he went after like Bulletproof. He went after Genius Network. He went after everybody, like Ray Edwards, the copywriter king, and like all these people. And it was just like this hit piece that got 500,000 views. It was like 400,000 views of all these people thinking that I'm like a terrorist, like this most evil, like I was like the next Theranos. That was 400,000 views. And it was right after the whole Theranos scandal, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like this guy's, they never tried the tech. They didn't, this guy was like a food scientist. He had no idea about like magnetic fields or any of this stuff, right? Like, but can you believe, how would you feel if someone created a 30-minute video telling the whole world that you're an absolute scam, right? It's a
What'd you
pretty,
do?
well, I went home and I threw up.
Literally?
Not because I agreed with him, but because I don't like the idea of 400,000 people not liking me and thinking,
Totally.
but well, I'm okay if they don't like me, but if they think I lied or I'm evil, like inherently trying to trick people for money, that gets me like deep, because like my whole life is built, this, like your reputation isn't an asset you can lose. That's like the one thing you can't lose. That's how I was always raised. Like honor, tell the truth. It's easier to remember. Like just do the right thing, even when no one's watching. Like that's like it. Because so yeah, when that stuff comes out, it's like, it's a gut punch. And like, luckily I had mentors and, the Lee Richters of the world and the Mark Tims and Dave Asprey, who, he's like, that's a badge. You just got the best badge of honor here, like you got a scar in the arena, and congratulations. And, and then Lee, by the way, this is going to be some incredible PR, down the road. And it was, right? Like people that could help me frame my thinking differently changed the game for me, and they encouraged me. They picked me up out of the dirt. And, they helped. And then we were able to like, when the science, when the studies came out in May, it was like not a peep. Right. And they're not even on page 1 of Google anymore. They're all gone. And we welcome it now. Cause now we're like, okay, of course people are going to be skeptical. This is a new way of thinking. It's a new technology. People thought radio waves and internet was like a total joke, like 70 years ago. Right. So there you go.
So yeah, and it's like the bigger, the bigger the tree, the bigger the shadow. And I think of like the shadow being like all of the people who are trying to like knock that tree down. It's like the bigger the game you play, the more people are rising to just test you. My mentor Mary Morrissey calls them our sacred friends. So it's like they're your friends, which are easy to like, and then like all the people in our lives where are trying to like push those buttons and test us. Those are our sacred friends, because they usually come with the best lessons. Yeah. Like the people who put whatever they're doing, whatever their motives are.
Yeah. What does Joe say? Everyone proves as an example, even if it's a bad one.
Yeah. Yep. Final question. So I had, the opportunity and really the honor to get to be part of your Vivid Vision process. And I was so enrolled in your vision after going through the Vivid Vision process with you that I was like, how can I invest? Which showed how powerful and potent the vision is. What are some of the specifics of your 3-year Vivid Vision that have come into fruition since creating it?
So the people that we wanted to attract, 3 of those people I think are already using Happy, which is like insane. Like Kevin Harrington, I just mentioned. Kevin Harrington just this isn't fully public, but we've been, in contact for a month already and had many discussions. And so we're excited about working with him. And the way that we built our signal playlist was in our vision, how we wanted to launch new signals and research them and go through that platform. The setting that entire thing up has come to fruition. The way we wrote it came to fruition exactly, which is awesome. Thinking through new form factors is already in the works, right? So, we've put this in our prospectus, so we can say this now to the public, but this isn't the only way you can do happy. We're in the middle of looking right now at, potentially yoga mats and pillows and helmets and things like that. Or I would love to have a work chair where there's a coil on the work chair that helps all throughout your central nervous system and your spine to trigger a muscle relaxant. Could you imagine playing relax through that? You don't have to wear anything. You just, when you sit down in your chair, it turns on and there's no audible. It's all just, receptors and things like that. That's an amazing product, right? How many people, their lower back gets sore after an hour of sitting? So anyway, those things were in the vision, right? And even our culture, the way we set up our culture, the serve mentality, we put in there that our customer service was going to be like our most important department because it's happy. Our name is literally happy. It's not spelled that, HAPBEE because there's a logo that's a B, but we wanted everyone to think of us and be happy. That was the whole point. And so now our customer service is our number one most important, to give everybody a happy experience. So it's just, you kind of hold on to that vision and it gives you something to drive towards even when crazy stuff happens, right? It's sort of, okay, so entrepreneurs never go to 30,000 feet. Entrepreneurs so often get drug into the weeds. Okay, this is like strategic coach 101. Like, get outside your business because nobody ever does it. And the default is to get into the weeds. The default is to do more emails, to do more tasks, to try to work harder, and you work yourself into a toilet bowl spin. And so what you do with a vision keeps you at 30,000 feet. It keeps you thinking on your business, not being stuck in your business. And so that's why I think of vision so crucial, is because entrepreneurs, the magnet is to be drugged down into the muck, But when you have a vision, it sort of pulls you up. It pulls you, outside of it so you can see clearly where this thing is going and what's the best next step.
And you've been such an example of that. Like, it's been I know we're been new friends for about the last year, and just seeing, I feel like your clarity in your vision, but also your rigor in your execution is like worth studying. I swear, for us as entrepreneurs, because there's also entrepreneurs that like can have wild big visions, and then it's just like the follow through is meh. But like your precision in your ability to take action and make things happen is unlike I've ever seen. And so I just commend you
Thank
so
you.
much.
That means a lot. Yeah, I think and I really do appreciate that, because that is a goal of mine, is to not be a dreamer, to have vision, right? Do you see the difference in those words? Like, some people, all they are dreamers, and that's fine. Like, if you want to just sit and look at the clouds and dream, that's not a bad pastime. But I respect the people that can turn that into reality. And I think that requires actual vision, right? There's a major difference. There's a lot of people who are like, like the Better Buyers Club, or I have this cool idea, or, oh, this would be fun. And when you're at a party, it's all they're talking about is like, oh, this would be awesome. Or I'm looking in this, or I'm looking at this. I just didn't really, I wanted to be known for my ability to execute and to do what I say I'm going to do. I mean, that to me is like the core of character. Say something, do something. A lot of people don't.
So good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being on, Scott. I super appreciate it.
Yeah, this is awesome. Thanks for having me.
Hello, my friend. I hope you loved this episode. Can you do me a favor? And if you know another entrepreneur who would really benefit from it, go ahead and send it on over to them. Also, if you're interested in learning about how you can create a vivid vision for your company, which is a powerful document that paints the picture of exactly what you want your company to look like 3 years into the future as if it's already happened, then you can head on over to createyourvividvision.com to learn more. Because a business that knows where it's going is more likely to get there. So whatever challenges that you're facing right now in your company, whether you have team members and contractors who are constantly asking what to do each step of the way, and it really challenges you from being able to focus on the needle movers in your company, or maybe you have top team members that are leaving to work for other companies, or you're having a challenge recruiting top talent, or you really want to scale, but you keep getting it dragged into the day-to-day because your team really can't see the big picture of where you're going. Or maybe you're crystal clear of what you know your vision looks like in your mind, but when it comes to communicating it to your team and your clients and your vendors, you kind of get stuck and it seems a lot more muffled than it does in your mind. If you run into any of these, a vivid vision can really help you. It's a powerful tool for you to be able to attract top talent, to be able to align your current team, to gain key partnerships, and for you as the entrepreneur, CEO, to really stay focused and motivated even in the most challenging of times. So if you're interested in learning more, head on over to createyourvividvision.com.